Chicago experienced a violent Memorial Day weekend in 2023 with at least 11 people killed and 60 others shot in shootings across the city from Friday to Monday. This was Chicago's deadliest Memorial Day weekend in 8 years, and this also marks the highest Memorial Day weekend death toll since 2015. And on top of that, the number of shootings that took place was even higher than the previous year, with victims ranging from ages 2 to 77 years old. Folks, this Memorial Day weekend was literally worse than last year and even worse than when Lori Lightfoot was mayor. And let's not forget that originally, just a few days before the holiday weekend, both the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois, whose campaign I used to work for, prepared for Memorial Day weekend's expected uptick in violence by deploying unarmed peacekeepers, which is absolutely crazy because not only was this idea a complete failure, but one of the peacekeepers they hired turned out to be a criminal themselves. According to prosecutors, Oscar Montez, age 31, was one of the several people who pulled a man from a car and punched and kicked him on the ground. When police arrived at the scene, Montez was trying to take off his neon vest that read "Peacekeepers." Some of the violence even occurred near Mayor Brandon Johnson's home. This Memorial Day weekend, one of the people that were killed was a woman who was found dead from stab wounds just 2 blocks away from the mayor's home. And then on Monday evening, a shooting was reported about 5 blocks away from the mayor's home, where a 36-year-old man was shot near the street around 7 o'clock p.m. Now, in Brandon Johnson's statement in response to the absolutely ridiculous violent Memorial Day weekend, which was record-breaking, he said poverty didn't go away over the weekend and communities have been disinvested in and traumatized, and you are seeing the manifestation of that trauma. So I have a huge problem with this statement, and I'm going to explain to you why, okay? From a common sense perspective, I'm going to explain to you why this guy is wrong. Now, I understand that black communities don't get as much investment from the city as the more affluent communities do. This is true. However, saying that you've got to invest in these communities is a horrible way to fight crime. I have no issue with that statement, but saying that as a means to fight crime, I don't like that, because a lot of these kinds of people I've interacted with on numerous occasions. I played basketball with them. Some of them I went to school with, seen at church, and I can tell you point blank, you cannot save these people. Some of them are just criminals and menaces to society. There's a guy that I went to college with. He's sitting in jail right now for killing somebody. I had another guy that I went to middle school with. He got caught with a gun charge and a murder charge a few years ago. He ended up beating the case. But my point is, I have seen this stuff firsthand as a black person in Chicago. I've seen it. You're not going to be able to invest or pour money into these young men or these crazy teenagers that are out here shooting people and stealing cars. They are too far gone. They're criminals. And I've said this in my other videos. I was born in Chicago. I lived in Chicago as a black person, so I got to see it firsthand. I don't know why our culture glorifies gang violence, gang banging, stealing, harming other black people, and all kinds of other criminal activity. I don't know why. But these people have no care in the world for who they harm, and they really are just bad people. That's the issue I have with Brandon Johnson's plan. Investing in these communities won't work as a measure to stop violence. These are literally the same communities where Walmart had to close their stores because the people in the community were stealing from these Walmarts so much that Walmart couldn't even turn a profit after being in these communities for the last 18 years. So here's what I believe in. I absolutely believe in investing in the youth. And I'm not talking about these teenagers that are going around shooting people and stealing cars. I'm talking about the very young youth, the kindergartners, people like that who are still innocent and have a chance to be better with the right guidance. I truly believe that it starts at the home. A lot of these people either grew up with bad parents, no parents, or just overall no guidance. That's the root cause, in my opinion. For me personally, I'd say that the main reason why I turned out pretty decent, why I turned out all right, is because I had guidance and good parents. If you don't have guidance or good parents and you were traumatized as a child in some way, then yeah, you're going to end up crazy and probably a criminal. A lot of these kids don't have fathers either, which is also very important because the father is the enforcer. When I grew up, my father was an enforcer and he didn't tolerate nothing. And that's why I don't like Brandon Johnson's plan, because I really don't think that these social justice initiatives are going to stop the violence. I've interacted with many of these so-called criminals just by being on a basketball court or seeing them at a party or something like that. And I'm telling you, you can give them jobs, you can invest in them all you want. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to show up to work late. Okay. They're going to go to work high. They're going to go to work drunk. They're going to call off a lot. They're going to quit. A lot of these guys are going to end up back on the street committing crimes again, because that's just who they are. You can't save some people. In my opinion, the only way you can truly save them is you have to start when they're very young. Frederick Douglass has this amazing quote where he says, this quote always stuck to me. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken men." So unfortunately, that leaves us with one thing. You've got to lock these people up. You can't save them. You've got to be tough on crime. These people aren't going to magically stop being in a gang or magically stop killing or stop stealing cars or stop being criminals just because you're preaching social justice. Truth be told, some of these people honestly could care less about any of that. And I do believe that a lot of these people, need mental health and different things like that. I do believe that. But a lot of them are also criminals. And it's so funny because Brandon Johnson and everybody is talking about the kids and how it's not their fault and they're traumatized. They need investments. Meanwhile, these criminals, these people, I can tell you right now, they're not watching Brandon Johnson. They're not. They might know who he is. Some of them probably don't. Some of them do. These people don't pay attention to politics. They could care less. They're paying attention to whatever the heck they care about, whether it's sports or rap music or gang culture. I don't know, whatever it is. I can tell you right now, these people are not interested in politics. They don't even know that you're even doing this, and they don't care. They have no idea that the mayor of Chicago is even trying to put forth these initiatives and speaking up for these communities and all. They don't even care. They are criminals, and that's all they think about. That's all they speak. That's the language they talk. That's what they do. They're going to continue to commit crimes, and somebody just has to say it. I feel like we need more black people to speak like this. I really do. We need more black people who are going to be honest, because let's be honest, a lot of us black people get victimized by our own people. Tupac has a famous quote. He says, "And they say it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here." I forgot what song that is, but that is a quote from Tupac, and he is absolutely right. All of the violent things that have happened to me in my life have been from other black people. Black people don't even care if they hurt their own race of people. So it's just like, why would I feel sorry for these same people? Why would I advocate, oh, you got to invest in them, you got to do this? If these people see me and I'm in the wrong neighborhood and they don't know me, they are going to do harm to me. I've seen it happen. It happens all the time. Matter of fact, when I was a senior in high school, me and my friends went to neighborhoods we had no business being in. And guess what happened? They tried to commit violent acts against us. That's how it goes. So I know some of the black people watch this are probably going to think I'm out of my mind, and they're going to think I'm crazy and I'm being unfair and I'm demonized, whatever. I'm not. I've seen it firsthand. My dad grew up in Cabrini Green. He's told me the stories. A lot of these people you just can't help. So if I were mayor, my strategy would be we are going to focus on the very young, and we got to figure out a way to get some type of guidance back in these communities, because that's the problem. There is no guidance. Most of the differences that I see between most of these affluent communities or these white communities, whatever you want to call it, white, affluent, rich, whatever, and these poor black and brown communities is the communities with all the money and less crime have guidance. The kids grew up with fathers and guidance and not as bad of trauma as the trauma that some of these other people are growing up. Some of these other kids in the hood are growing up seeing people get shot, stabbed, beat up, hurt. They growing up seeing they mama and daddy fight, daddy beating up mama, mama cursing on the phone, and people, God damn, it's just horrible. Like, that's a horrible environment to grow up in. If you grow up like that, of course you're going to be messed up. So in my personal opinion, you need guidance. You got to prioritize the youth, and we got to stop saying, oh, the teenagers, we can help them if we just invest. These 25-year-old black kids who are shooting people, we got to invest. No, they're too far gone. I'm sorry. Somebody has to say it. They are too far gone. You cannot save them. It is just like a drug addict. A lot of these drug addicts and homeless people you see on the streets of Chicago, if you go downtown, you'll see plenty of. There's plenty of drug addicts all on the street and crackheads and homeless people. You can't save them. You can put them in rehab. You give them all the money you want, whatever. Talk to anybody who's done this type of work. A lot of those people you can't save. It's the same thing with these people who are committing these violent acts. A lot of them, unfortunately, yes, some of them need mental health services. I'm perfectly fine with that. For the ones who need mental health services, get them the mental health that they need. But a lot of these people don't have mental health. They're just criminals. And so all I can say is I just hope we get an elected official who truly understands this. That's all I can really say. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.